There's a point in your journey where things no longer feel like a struggle to begin. They start to feel like a responsibility to maintain. Because now, you've crossed a threshold where your content is no longer invisible. It's being seen, it's being judged, it's being measured, and with that visibility comes a new kind of pressure, one that most beginners never anticipate. Because now, every upload carries weight, every idea carries expectation, and every decision carries consequences that can either push you forward or slow you down. And this is where creators either level up or lose control of their growth. At this stage, your thinking shifts from, "Can I make this video?" to, "Should I make this video?" And that question is far more strategic, because now you're not just creating for the sake of creating, you're creating with intent, with purpose, with a deeper understanding of what your audience wants and what the system rewards. And this is where many creators begin to separate themselves from the noise, because they stop reacting and start predicting, they stop guessing and start analyzing, and they begin to see content not as isolated uploads, but as part of a larger growth system. You start noticing that certain types of videos consistently perform better, not because they are random, but because they align with human curiosity, with emotional triggers, with patterns of engagement that drive retention and clicks. And once you identify these patterns, you begin to replicate them, not by copying, but by understanding the underlying psychology, because replication without understanding leads to repetition, but understanding leads to innovation. And innovation is what sustains long-term growth. As you refine your approach, you also begin to experiment with structure, because structure is one of the most powerful tools in content creation, and a well-structured video can hold attention far longer than a poorly structured one, even if the idea is similar, because structure controls pacing, pacing controls engagement, and engagement controls performance. And when these elements are aligned, your content becomes more compelling, more watchable, and more shareable. At the same time, you become more aware of the importance of first impressions, because the first few seconds of your video are critical, and in that short window, viewers are making a decision, stay or leave, and your ability to influence that decision determines your video's success. So you begin crafting stronger openings, sharper hooks, more intriguing introductions, all designed to spark curiosity and create an immediate reason for the viewer to continue watching. But as you focus on improving your content, you also start to notice something else. Your audience is evolving too. Their expectations are rising. Their attention is becoming more selective. And what once worked may no longer work the same way. And this is where adaptability becomes essential, because the digital landscape is constantly changing, and if you fail to adapt, you risk becoming irrelevant, no matter how successful you once were. This is where many creators face a turning point, because growth introduces complexity, and complexity requires systems, and systems require discipline, and discipline requires consistency, and consistency requires sacrifice. And this chain of requirements is what defines whether you can scale or not. Because scaling is not about doing more randomly. It's about doing the right things repeatedly, with precision and purpose, and eliminating what no longer serves your growth. You begin to optimize not just your content, but your workflow, your planning, your research, your editing process, and even your mindset, because efficiency becomes important when you are producing consistently, and any inefficiency can slow you down, reduce your output, or affect your quality. And this is where you start thinking like a system builder rather than just a content creator, because systems allow you to grow without burning out. And growth without burnout is what sustains long-term success. There's also a deeper realization that starts to form. You begin to understand that every successful creator you admire went through this exact phase. The phase of refinement, the phase of adjustment, the phase of learning how to balance creativity with strategy. And this realization removes the illusion of overnight success, because now you see the layers behind every viral moment, the effort behind every polished video, and the discipline behind every consistent channel. And as you continue, something powerful happens. You start building momentum that compounds. where each successful video makes the next one easier to grow, where each improvement amplifies the next result, and where consistency creates a cycle of increasing performance. And this compounding effect is what transforms small channels into large ones, not instantly, but gradually, through repeated execution and continuous refinement. But even at this level, the journey is not without challenges, because growth introduces new risks, new expectations, and new pressures, and staying consistent becomes more difficult as life, responsibilities, and external factors begin to compete for your time and energy. And this is where commitment becomes critical, because only those who are fully committed can sustain momentum when distractions increase and motivation decreases. At the end of this stage, you're no longer just reacting to the platform. You are interacting with it, shaping your content based on insights, adjusting your strategy based on feedback, and building something that is not only growing but evolving. And that evolution is what defines the difference between temporary success and long-term dominance. And as you look back at where you started, the silence, the uncertainty, the struggle to be seen, you begin to realize that none of it was wasted, because every step, every failure, every experiment contributed to the creator you have become. And now, standing at this point, you understand something most people never do, that growth is not a moment, it's a process, and those who respect the process are the ones who eventually master it.